Acustica Audio, the makers of Lime, Gold, Navy, Sand, and many other VST audio processors. Okay, for a while I wanted to do a video on some of the Acustica plugins, and I finally have the chance now, and I decided to do a series of few videos in the next few months. For those who don't know, Acustica Audio is an Italian company that makes these incredibly sounding and looking plugins, which are based on actual samples from the original hardware pieces that they were sampled. For example, hardware compressors, equalizers, channel strips, recording consoles, and so on. This plugin specifically is an Oram Sonic High Def 55 limited edition mastering EQ made by John Oram, which to my knowledge, I believe he was one of the guys behind the Trident consoles. Okay, so before I get to the actual video, few things to note. Number one, this video is not sponsored in any way. This video is not prepared for in any way, choreographed or directed or anything. I just turned everything on, and whatever comes to my mind, I'll go with the flow. It's gonna be more of like a technical videos, like few functions, how the EQ works and those things. It's not gonna be like EQ in general. I'm not gonna talk during the audio demonstration, and I have like few monitors in front of me, so a lot of the things I will be doing on the side monitors, which you will not see on the main monitor, which has been recorded. Okay, we are back into my workstation, which is Cubase Pro 10, 10.5 or whatever. And just a simple rundown, I have 4 drum tracks, and I also have the 4 room and overheads and SLR tracks recorded separately, all of them. I have 1 bass and 2 guitars and whatever the group's next to it. This small piece is 24 bars, which is long enough, I think, but it's only leveled. There is no EQs or compressors per track or anything, which is not really the proper way to demonstrate a mastering EQ, but I'll just go roughly, and I will use the Opal only on the master fader, and that's it. That's basically about the track, like the tracks itself. The only thing I should note is I'm using a small plugin called ABLM. It's a volume compensator, I would call it. So what happens is when you compress or EQ or whatever, the volume goes up and down, but this one you can bypass without a difference in the perceived volume itself. So that's basically it. As I said, I will use the EQ only in the master fader, as in the mastering context, and that would be it. So this is Opal EQ. Before I go on, I need to note here in the folder of acoustic audio, you will find 4 different instances. They're just doubled. Originally there are 2 of them, and then you have the acoustic audio ZL instances, which are 0 latency in whatever software you're using. You have the Opal EQ and Opal EQ Lite. Lite is how the original equalizer is, and the Opal EQ has some extra features on it, which we will mention later. So this is basically the plugin. It's huge and I love it. You can see anything on it. It's a 2-channel mastering EQ, 8 bands of overlapping adjustments per channel, as you can see in the frequencies. It has a unique combining of shelf and bell response curves. And what I like about it is the low sweep, low shelf, and also high sweep, high shelf. You can use them at the same time instead of how you have on some EQs where you got a choice between either or and so on. Let's start from the input gain. You have the peak LED on the input, and you have a low cut filter from 5 to 300 Hertz. On the other side, you have the high cut filter. I love these filters. I tried them before, forget it. And you have the EQ in to engage it and the filter to engage. Now, I was going to go at the end on the top, which is the extra stuff, but I have to go now to explain the control link, which actually links them, so you don't have to click on each separate and through the mid-side processing. So on the top extra stuff, you have the control link, which I explained. You have the preamp and you have mid-side processing. Now, this is about me only. On any Acustica plugin, the first thing I do when I turn it on is I turn the preamp on and I drive the input trim to halfway at least. Now, the input trim works a little different. As much as you push on it, that much the output compensates back. So basically with this, you just drive the sound internally into the preamp, but it's compensated so it does not go out of the speakers. That's basically the whole thing about the extra stuff on top. And you have the pan and the stereo spread. Back to the EQ. So now you have the low sweep and the high sweep EQs, and they control bell-shaped response of both the audio spectrums, and also you have the low shelf frequencies. You can use them both at the same time. Next, you have the low mid and low high frequencies, and all the gains, the level is controlled within the 36 dB, and it also has a switchable detail. From what I can understand from the manual and also from the description here, there are +6, -6 of the overall gain on the EQ. You have the bandwidth buttons, which is in, narrow, out, broad. It's self-explanatory. And you have the actual bypass button on the end. I mean, there is nothing really I can explain anything more technical about this. That's basically it. So from this, I will go on to playing some audio with this EQ. I will be bypassing with the A and B on my other plugin on the side. I will try sometimes to exaggerate a little the gain, cut, or boost, and then I'll dial it back again so we can notice more of the difference, and so on. So that's basically it. So let's dive into it. So guys, that was the video for the Opal EQ. Thank you for listening to it. If you liked it, please thumbs up. If you did not like it, please thumbs down. That's how life works. And I will leave some links down in the description. And I will see you in the next Acustica or Eurorack or synthesizer or whatever video I make. Thank you again.